Greetings, geeks and nerds, I'm Legion Universe and White and Nerdy. I know I said at the end of my core review that this would be a YouTube subscriber poll. And that's mostly true to a point, but that's only because that YouTube screwed me over with my Chocolate Gunn review, which did well until eventually a couple days ago as a prior to pre-recording this, they sent me an email saying that it's been taken down in 10 countries. So, for whatever reason, I couldn't read the copyright thing because it was all in Japanese, but I am assuming that instead of it being the anime itself, that it was probably the music. So, yeah. So now I either have to put that back to another month or wait until next year now. Yeah, see, YouTube is fun, but only to a certain point of doing things. But I'm not gonna be on an angry rant about that here. But when I think about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has gotten even more popular thanks to Deadpool and Wolverine, but when I think of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's only a couple of films off the top of my head that I can name it being like the quintessential Marvel film for anyone that wants to get into the MCU to see. The first one that comes to mind is the essential and cult classic Blade movie that came out in 1998. That is, of course, an essential to watch and check out. There's, of course, the amazing and also cult classic Bryan Singer X-Men film, the original one, which I would say is a requirement for anyone getting into the MCU to see. And then one last film I would require for people to watch to get into the MCU would be the amazing Sam Raimi Spider-Man film, which in my opinion still holds up all these years later. But there is one quintessential film that you should watch to get into the MCU. It's even been called like a staple of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it has come out 10 years ago, in which people are celebrating the anniversary of it. So, not for clickbait reasons. I just noticed that people were doing it. So I'm of course gonna jump on the bandwagon myself and talk about the original and amazing Guardians of the Galaxy film, which is where James Gunn basically took off. Now, at first, when I heard that this movie would be made, I went, really? Like, such a weird team in the Marvel Universe, and I begun to realize that when James Gunn tackles something, it's best just to shut the hell up and let the man work in what he's doing. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, not doing a full review of it, but just doing like an overview, my honest opinions of it, and how I feel about the movie, and yeah, in a sense, review it. But we're going to be talking about how this film still holds up, basically 10 years later, which is not a lot of time, but for the impact this film has made on the MCU and comic book media and also pop culture media itself, it's pretty amazing and essential for me to talk about here. So yes, folks, I'm talking about the amazing James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy that came out as of 10 years ago, as according to this recording that I'm talking about. So just be forewarned that there might be some slight spoilers if you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy yet, so just be aware that there might be some spoilers, so please avoid if you haven't seen the movie yet. I love how this movie opens up with getting us introduced to Peter Quill, and we already know his characteristics and basically what he's all about just within this very short scene. We see that he's a very quiet, kind of relaxed kid who likes listening to music, and of course he's listening to a mixtape that his mom made for him or that he made for himself here. To which his mother asks him politely to hold her hand as she passes away because his mom has cancer, and according to what we see in the film, she is not doing too good. It's actually wonderful for James Gunn as a director and also writer of this, where he was like, I want people to get to know how Star-Lord works, but not spend too much time with him. You know, this is like a 2 hour long movie, and he's like, but I don't want them to spend too much time with him, but I want them to spend enough time with him. And so what he probably thought of was, maybe I can jam pack his entire life story just within the first 5 minutes of the film, and it worked so well. I mean, you know, with the Spider-Man film, we already got to know Peter Parker's origin, which was basically the entire movie. With Blade, he kind of copied the Blade formula because Blade Origins in the original Blade film was like 5 minutes and then it was over and we already knew basically everything about Blade, but the movie kept explaining it to us. With X Men, every single film, because there's a lot of X Men out there, every single film basically explains how the X Men are so important and why mutants are so feared in that movie. But with Guardians of the Galaxy, which is just main character, just the first one, and of course, every character gets its origin. Not Rocket, though. That's saved until Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which you guys can go and watch on my channel. It's not the best review because I was getting over a cold or whatever that I had, but you can still go and watch it. But I just really love how James has had this, I guess I would say, like, chemistry to finally work with the script and be like, I know how I want this origin to work, so let's try to make it work in the best of ways. And James, with this one scene, has acquired that as he began to show me like I can trust him as a director and also as a writer. Which he then grows up to become the basically galaxy bounty hunter known as Star Lord as he's going after something that he does not know anything about, but he knows that he's going to get paid a lot of money if he does so. Which is, of course, later on in the film where we get to meet Rocket and Groot as they're also bounty hunters and they want to take down Peter Quill because he is worth a lot of money, and that's how Rocket and Groot basically work. And I think that that worked so wonderful is that James was like, how can I just get all these characters together? And he thinks it's the most interesting way. Have all of them basically be worth money. And that's not even a joke. All of them is worth money because, you know, Star Lord had stolen a bunch of things on a bounty and sold them for a bunch of ridiculous money. Rocket and Groot had stolen a bunch of things and sold it for money. And of course, Rocket is worth a bunch of money because he is a science experiment. What's funny about this is that it's hinted at in this film, but it's not explained more until the third film, and only James Gunn and Bradley Cooper knew about Rocket's origin story, and they're like, we're not gonna say anything until the third movie, and James did a wonderful job at managing, especially Bradley Cooper, at managing just keeping it all hush hush and everything. And of course, Gamora is worth a bunch of money to her father because she is the daughter of the savage tyrant Thanos, who, yes, does make a cameo in this film. So it's like after the Avengers, James was like, can I borrow him? I just want to drag him over into my movie, and then we actually make it work. Which, funny enough, Thanos is not the enemy of Guardians of the Galaxy, which I would say for myself personally that it would make sense to have Thanos be the first main enemy. That's just me. That's how I would say that it would really work. But then James was like, no. That's what they're expecting. That's what they want me to do. But instead, he gives us another basically side character to use for this film. As the main enemy of the original Guardians of the Galaxy is Ronan the Accuser, and he is a big baddie. He had done a lot of terrible things, killed a lot of people just within this movie, which of course is what leads them into getting into jail, and the only way that they could break out of this prison was basically by working together, even though all of them are complete polar opposites of themselves. And I love that James was able to do this. Is that he had this team of mischief characters and he finds a way to have them be connected. Well, of course, they all still hate each other's guts in the original film, of course, but he just finds a magical way of merging them together and being like, okay, well, if they're gonna hate each other, I want them to at least have a common goal. And he actually does a wonderful job at giving them just that common goal that they can all use, which is why when I reviewed Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves earlier this year, I was like, yeah, this is very much Guardians of the Galaxy, but fantasy themed, which honestly makes it a lot better. And every time that I went back and rewatched the film, honestly, I was like, this is Guardians of the Galaxy, but if it was set in fantasy times. And to which, in case, they're in prison and their goal is to escape from prison. So, of course, just through breaking out through prison, the team had finally have come together until they realized that what they're trying to get rid of, which is one of the Infinity Stones, is purple. I don't know what the purple Infinity Stone is, truthfully. I know that green is time, red is what Wanda's powers are, like manipulation or whatever. I don't know what all of them do, but what they find is the purple Infinity Stone, and then they realize later on, like after they were obsessed by greed, they're like, we can't let this get into the wrong hands of the right person here. And this is finally when they come together, when they finally start to become a team, and when they realize that they all have the same goal, protecting the universe and kicking bad guy ass. And even with the Infinity Stone in his hand of Ronan the Accuser, the Guardian still did not back down from this threat as they wanted to face him off man to man. Which worked so well for the film because, you know, when you think about the Infinity Stones, you think about how powerful that Thanos is when he wields the Infinity Gauntlet five, with all six of them just attached to his Infinity Gauntlet. You know just how strong he is. That he can literally kill you with just a snap of his fingers, and you're gone. You're just dead. You're non-existent. But seeing someone else hold that power is all the more scarier. And this is one of Thanos' henchmen. This is Ronan the Accuser, who basically is like one of Thanos' slave servants, whatever you want to call him. And when that motherfucker used the Infinity Stone for the first time, holy shit, because they literally say it in this film that if he uses this on anything, if he just goes to a planet and just smashes it down with his big hammer, like he just basically does like the Mario thing, where you would get the hammer power up, just boink, it will destroy an entire world, and it's like, oh, that's what we are dealing with. Oh, oh, oh boy, this is actually a bigger threat than you could actually think of. And the fact that they actually still managed to face off with him face to face goes to show you just how willing that the Guardians are. They know what this thing can do, they know how deadly it can be, and they are not going to stop until they get to their goal. And they did just that. They managed to hold him off until the point where they finally got their hands on the Infinity Stone, and they were not going to give up even as the Infinity Stone was ripping them apart. By the way, I love the flashback that Star-Lord had seeing his mother with cancer inside of her bed, and he finally realized his mistake of never taking her hand as he grabs the hand of Gamora.
We're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
That is probably my favorite moment of the movie, and Chris Pratt could not have said that any more motherfucking cool, where he goes, you said it yourself, bitch. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy. And just blast Ronan the Accuser away. And, it's like, great that you see that, which also leads into what we know about Star-Lord, something that James Gunn didn't do until the second movie, was that, yeah, Star-Lord is not human. He's part of this rare alien race who happened to make love to his mother, fell in love with his mother, sent his mother back to Earth, or assumably they fell in love on Earth and he had to return to space. I haven't seen Guardian 2 in a very long time, so I apologize if I'm pulling anything out of my ass. But one of the two happened, and he had two kids, Mantis, who lived with him, and Star-Lord. And it's like, when you notice that, it's like, he is a lot more special than meets the eye, in which, of course, Chris Pratt himself is just a special actor in of himself, and the amazing job that he had done in all three films, plus the Avengers cameos as well, which I still haven't seen Endgame or Infinity War. I know, shame on me, but eventually that I will. And the movie sort of like ends on a basically happy note. The world is saved, and the Nova Corps will hang on to, the Infinity Stone much until the Avengers time, as they discuss what Star-Lord truly is and that he has to go ask his father what he really is. And of course, Peter Quill opens up the letter that his mom gave him when he was old enough and gave him a proper mixtape that she actually made for him with love, and it was just such a sweet moment. Which, of course, we also get motherfucking Yondu in the film, who was in the original Guardians of the Galaxy comic, but he's not really a main character. He becomes a background character much until the one-awaited sequel. And then we see the Guardians basically promising each other that they will protect the galaxy no matter what the cause, even if they have to cause a little bit of mischief and have fun along the way of protecting said galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy is just such a fun film ride from beginning to end, and I really do love it. It's not surprising that when I first checked it out back in 2014 when it came on DVD, or 2014 or 2015, when I finally checked this movie out, and I was just ecstatic of how good it was, and it took me a long time to actually get a physical copy. Into my collection, as it is just a mind-boggling film with some great special effects, an amazing story, a great director in James Gunn with a brilliant cast. And while James is doing the Creature Commandos movie, which this film is not sponsored by Max, but I'm just letting you know that it's coming to Max as of August 28th, so you should be excited for that. It's James Gunn's first animated movie. And also, as of July of next year, James is going to the DC Universe to work on Superman, and supposedly after Superman Legacy, he's going to be working on a Static Shock film. He wants to, and I trust the guy in doing so. So my Funko Pop rating of Guardians of the Galaxy should be no fucking surprise for anyone. It definitely deserves a supreme string. This film really does stand out above most of the other MCU films, and I see why people go, this is an essential Marvel movie to watch, and I definitely see why, man. So my Funko Pop rating of Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be a supreme strange. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me at Twitter review for this and the link to the description down below. And let me know what you think about Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy, do you think it still holds up to the day 10 years later? Let me know in the comments down below. And do you think that this is an essential MCU movie for people to actually watch? Let me also know in the comments down below. And let me know if you like this new review style. I'm going to try to do this more often. I'm going to try to kind of, I wouldn't say copycat, but like borrow both of like 3C Films and Andre Meadows' extreme uh, editing skill to kind of like to kind of like review something, and hopefully that this will mean that YouTube's copyright bot won't drive me crazy. But let me know in the comments in the comment down below how you like it, and if you want me to go back to the other way, I can try to do that as well too. But let me know what you think. But next time is actually is YouTube subscribable time, because next time we're going to talk about a young boy who has an ally of 10 plus heroes. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love Universe. I believe Universe. I have white nerdy. Keep it on. And until next time, guys, take care and wait for my review of season 4 of Ben 10.